Hello and welcome back to Mountain Blade Warband and our 10-year anniversary series. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to take out knudarr Castle. We're going to obviously try to take this as swiftly as we can. There is a minor complication, and I say minor, but it might actually be a little bit more on the major side of things, but we'll see. I'm not entirely sure what the layout is that we're facing here, but there are many vassals inside. Oh yeah, there are a lot of vassals inside, so I'm a little bit dubious about this. You can see here that we actually have a -2 battle advantage, which is pretty awful. I mean, it's not that bad, obviously. It could be worse, but it is definitely not something that you want in a siege. And we do have Lord Gunda alongside with us, who is helping us out. Very much hoping that he's actually going to be useful. That's very much a case of, well, it's kind of a gamble. Kind of a gamble most of the time with these guys. Unfortunately, as I say, there are so many enemy vassals in here that we might have some issues just purely even winning this, because they're actually pretty good. You know, the vassals actually have some good skills, and they have decent gear, and they're probably going to be pretty difficult for us to eliminate. As you can see, Jarl Turia is actually doing some pretty good damage for his forces here. But I am very much hoping that I will be able to, shall we say, outweigh the effect that the vassals can have. But that's also the reason why I say, and have said multiple times over the many years that I have been playing Warband, is that it actually makes a huge difference for you to stay alive. And I'm talking not just about the fact that, obviously, if you're just playing native in Warband, that it is going to exponentially increase the chances of your success if you live. And I'm not even talking about, you know, if you're really good at fighting or if you're really bad at fighting or anywhere in between. Because in the grand scheme of things, if you can eliminate around, I don't know, 5 average amounts of units every single time you go into a fight, you're probably going to be doing okay. You know, you're going to be doing okay. And that's actually going to make a pretty big difference. But let's face it, if you have decent enough gear and your character is, you know, having a good amount of weapon proficiency across the board, I'm just talking about whatever, you know, common weapon you are generally wanting to use, for example, one-handed, two-handed, whatever, then you're probably going to be fine. You know, you're probably going to be fine. You're probably going to get, you know, at least 10 kills in a variety of different situations. But obviously, if you can't, that's not really that big a deal. But all I'm saying is, contributing to the fight as your own player character makes a massive difference in your likelihood of actually achieving victory. And it may seem a bit it may seem really dumb for me to say that, you know, like, oh yeah, of course, you know, a hero unit such as yourself staying alive, yeah, of course it's going to make a difference. Well, yeah, of course it is. However, there have been many times where I have died and I thought to myself, oh yeah, I would have easily won this. I would have easily won this if I had just lived. But I ended up losing. I ended up losing just purely for the fact that I died. And that's the reason why I'm generally just tending to mention this now, because you never know. Maybe there are some people that haven't really played Warband. Maybe you were introduced to the Mountain Blade franchise through Bannerlord, and maybe you want to give Warband a try or something like that. I don't know. I mean, generally, as far as I'm aware, it is on sale. Is it on sale right now? I'm actually not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, they did, what was it now? They did an announcement about the fact that obviously Bannerlord is going to be released on console, and they're going to be releasing it out of early access and everything into a full version. And to celebrate that, they're apparently having a sale on the other games as well. So I'd recommend at least picking up Warband. I mean, if you don't have it already, of course, maybe you picked it up on a sale, you know, beforehand or something like that. I mean, there's so much content here. There really is a lot of content. And if you like the Bannerlord style of gameplay, obviously Warband is a bit of a step back in many cases. You know, quality of life improvements for the most part. And of course, once the full version comes out, it might very well be easier for modding teams to actually create mods that are going to be stable for longer, because obviously the version of the game is not going to continually be updated, and the modding teams are not going to have to do unnecessary busy work, or should be unnecessary busy work, to upgrade their mods to the next version, because obviously for some reason Tailworld's made it kind of difficult for the modding community. I don't know why, but whatever the case, there's a lot of content here, as I say. There's a lot of content in Warband, and yeah, that's pretty nice in my opinion. And otherwise, apart from that, we're done here. Yep, there you go. We're actually done here. How many did we lose? We lost a pretty significant amount of people, actually, surprisingly so, because I took a look at how many units were actually inside the garrison here, and I didn't think there were that many. I thought we had about 170 or so to kill, but no, there's actually 230 in here. You can see how many vassals we actually had to deal with as well, which definitely did not want to deal with, but there you go. Anyway, cursed be this day. As you can see, not going to be taking, not going to be taking a chance on that fellow, and I'm just going to be taking him prisoner. And this guy is actually a good personality, so we're going to let him go. And now here we are. This is the main reason, well, actually one of the main reasons why I wanted to capture this place, with the exception of the fact that capturing a Nord fief is probably a pretty good idea, right? It's probably a pretty good idea. So, yeah, we're just going to be trying to take as many things as I can get my hands on, as many really good units as I can. Serenade Master Archers are pretty decent. Serenade Horsemen can become Mamluks. They're pretty cool, too. They're kind of on the sort of the same scale as Swadian Knights, but on a different way, because they have slightly different gear. Now I just have to check and make sure that I'm actually taking something that's really good. I only have a very small amount of spaces left, so maybe I just want to take some Vagiers, and they can become archers or something along those lines. Maybe that would be a good idea. I don't really know. I mean, we have such a wide smattering of units now, it's kind of a bit weird. I guess I'll take the peasant women. Peasant women actually do become some really good units later down the line. Sword sisters, they are called, and yeah, they are actually surprisingly strong. You wouldn't think so, considering they come all the way from peasant women and things like that. And the farmer line is not so good in comparison. So, you know, it's, I mean, the farmer line is okay. They become, what is it, mercenary horsemen or something like that, or maybe manhunters. I actually can't remember. But, yeah, the fact is, yeah, I think they do become actually caravan guards and then mercenary horsemen. But, yes, the peasant women actually become something a little better, in my opinion. But otherwise, there we go. We're just going to be taking all the loot. I actually noticed before, at the end of the previous episode, don't know whether you noticed that as well, that I was running out of food. So I went over to Tyr and I picked up a bunch of food there. Lord Logerson is going to be getting this one. Yeah, we got to still be really careful about our relations with all these fellows. Yeah, they're all going down now as well. This is really kind of uncomfortable, but whatever the case, we're just going to be waiting here for some time, and what I'm actually going to do is, if I can, I will try to make peace with the Nords. I would love to be able to take Harut's castle, but it is a siege tower. Yeah. It is a siege tower, and I'm really, really not wanting to go in here, but it's one of those things that maybe I just have to bite the bullet and do. But I'm actually wondering, why are these guys actually... Wait a minute. Oh, okay, yeah. Can you guys actually follow me? Because I know that some of these guys are not actually following me for some reason, even though I am the marshal. It should make all the sense in the world for them to want to follow me, because I have called for a campaign. But that is obviously something that happens a lot more often, shall we say, than in Bannerlord. Because in Bannerlord, they're generally going to join your army, and then you decide where they go and where they, you know, what they do and so on. Whereas in this, they are, well, they're provided a little bit more freedom. They can decide what they want to do, and if they want to follow you, then they can follow you, and if they don't, then they don't. And that's actually cool in some ways, but also in some other ways not so cool. So yeah, sometimes it can be a huge detriment to your success, because let's face it, if you have, you know, vassals like I do, where they're running around with 140 units each or something like that, and you think to yourself, oh, this siege, you know, this castle only has 220. If we just had one of those vassals come in and join me in that fight, we'd be done. You know, we'd be done. We would be so incredibly done that we would be able to eliminate the Nords really fast, and that would be amazing. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to happen that much, unfortunately. Alright, so I'm actually going to be doing something a little bit different here. I'm going to be replacing my balanced sword in just a second. And I'm going to be replacing it with an axe, I think. Because what I'd like to do is have something that can destroy shields relatively fast. You can see here, I don't actually have anything that destroys shields. I do have this two-handed. Obviously, as I said to you before, I personally feel like it's a really good idea to have a long-reaching slashing or piercing weapon, just so that you can kill enemy units in a siege, defense or offense, either one. And then obviously you have the heavy iron mace as well. Technically, I'd recommend using a morning star here. I unfortunately do not have a morning star available, so it would be advisable to get one of those, but I'm gonna get this. This is a pretty nice weapon. It's a bit slower than my previous sword, well, than my previous weapon, shall we say, because the axe is obviously not a sword. But yeah, I'm thinking that this will probably be okay. And we're just gonna, oh no, not into the streets, not into the streets. I always used to do that. Ugh, that was very annoying. Alright, so yes, anyway, we're just gonna go and check the tavern real fast, because I'd like to make sure that I'm not missing out on any... yes, I guess I will go for the book merchant. Show me what you have for sale, sir. Okay, so I know for, this is this tactics, actually? Or is that engineering? I am so bad at remembering what these books do. I really should have looked that up before I started recording. Oh well, whatever the case, let me just read that, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe it's gonna go well, maybe it's not, but whatever the case, I'm gonna actually refresh. Oh, hello there. Oh, hello. Okay, King Ragnar. Alright, so yeah, what we're going to do is very quickly just refresh the campaign. And we're going to call for another campaign, because I really want to have some people actually come and assist me. Because at the moment, they're kind of just relaxing, not really doing much at all. So I'd like them to finally come and help us. And, well, King Ragnar is right here. I would love to be able to defeat him. He's actually running away from me. Probably because he has some extremely weak units. Yeah, okay. I am a bit worried about actually fighting this fellow. But I think... Ooh, this is actually a really nice battlefield. Don't tell him. Don't tell him I said that. This is a really nice battlefield, though. Yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe it's gonna be okay, maybe it's not. I mean, I've got 36 cavalry on the field of battle right now. It's pretty nice. That's not too bad. Should be good. Bear in mind that some of this cavalry is kind of low tier. They're not the most amazing, but they're okay. And we're gonna try and just pick off a couple of their archers in the meantime. There we go, not too bad. Try and take out a couple more. Obviously, bear in mind, I am going to get stopped, annoyingly. But that's what happens sometimes. I really do not want to die, though, so I'm going to be very careful about how I do this. Most of these guys are literally just Nord footmen. Yeah, okay. We're going to just charge. Just going to charge. I think we probably have the advantage here. If we can actually charge from behind this hill here, try and prevent ourselves from taking any damage from the... very small smattering of archers that they have, and of course their thrown weapons as well, because the thrown weapons can do some pretty significant damage sometimes. Maybe I can get a little bit of experience boost by doing this as well. Might be kind of nice, because I would like to get additional intelligence points. That might actually help me to not fall off the ladder a little bit more, because I'm then going to be intelligent enough to know that fall damage, ouch, yes. Stuff like that, yeah. Ooh, we did lose a mercenary horseman, but that is to be expected, of course. I mean, I'm not expecting to not lose anyone in this particular fight, because let's face it, we are up against the enemy leader. So it is, it's probably to be assumed that we will lose a couple of people. Ooh, we're getting some nice kills, though. Nice. Yeah, and this is exactly my point. Having a weapon like this is really, really useful, because even though it technically is actually not even very good, I mean, it's a chipped two-handed weapon that I bought for 700 gold. I mean, really, it's not that much at all. Whereas it's just so useful. It's just really, really useful. It obviously doesn't have any special attributes to it whatsoever, you know, apart from being a long slab of metal. That's pretty much all it is. And that's all you really need it to be, you know, especially when you're fighting on a horse. And I think we're pretty much done. Yeah, look at that. We absolutely slaughtered him. And that is just purely for the fact that he had such low tier units. That's it. It's actually pretty crazy. Alright, so there you go. We were able to win, and when we win, we're going to be moving on to Horus Castle. I am actually going to try and see whether we are actually going to be getting any other people to help us out here, because, as I said before, I really don't want to go into a siege tower if I can help it with... you know, myself only. I'd love to have some other people actually come along, because the AI, they do tend to have the magical quality of just drawing units out of thin air. They can just pull them out of thin air, and that actually makes all the difference in the world. You can see here, look at that, 225, and there's a massive amount of vassals in there as well. So I'm very much hoping... Can they... Oh, really? One of them actually went inside? I'm actually super surprised that... Oh, yeah, I guess that actually does happen in Warband. Yeah, never mind. Okay. That doesn't happen in Bannerlord as much. But we do have... Oh, no, 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 no. You're offering me peace? I'm going to say no to that, sir. No, no way. You are not getting any respite from me. That is for sure. Can you come over here, sir? 119. Come on. Ah... How irritating is that? Oh yes, that is extremely irritating. Look at him. Look at him over there. He's just taunting us by standing over there in that direction. Oh well, never mind. I mean, the best thing that we can do right now is just have these two help me out, and then just see what happens. I'm very much hoping that some of the vassals have not restored their forces, because if they have, then this is going to be much more painful than it had to be. Alright, so here we go. It is time for us to ascend the siege tower and get over into the battlements. Hopefully we're going to be able to actually do that, to be honest, because I'm in a... I'm in two minds about whether that's actually going to even happen. You can see here that we're already having some pretty big issues, mostly due to the fact that there are a lot of vassals in here. As far as I can tell, yeah, there are a lot of vassals in here, and they are definitely going to make this very hard. Very, very hard for us. So I'm just going to try and do some overheads here. I'm not actually going to try very hard to get inside, because this is one of those times where you kind of want to be a little bit careful. Don't really want to be in a situation where I get myself killed ahead of time. So I'm just going to try and do a little bit of damage here and there. And if I can do a little bit, and then just slip on by towards where the archers are, then I might be okay. Can I... oh no, this is bad. Why am I on the top of them? Why am I here? Yeah, that is, yeah. Right. Okay. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say to that. That is literally one of the most frustrating things that can happen. That is really, really frustrating, actually. All right, well, I'm gonna keep knudarr in the party for now. I think he actually has a problem with one of our people, but I'm gonna just keep him in there for now because I believe... Does he have any trainer skill, actually? Let me actually just very quickly check. If he doesn't have any trainer skill, I'm not gonna keep him. No, he has 0. Alright, okay. I'm just gonna let him go then. Alright, so wait a minute. Can we have someone else please join? Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna call for ending the campaign, starting a new campaign straight away. And then I am going to go to tier. And we're just going to sell some stuff real fast. But yeah, that was literally one of the most annoying things that can happen. And that happens, I wouldn't say often, but I would definitely say that that happens much more than I would like. And there's not much you can do about it, really. I mean, obviously, I got stuck there. I jumped. And I thought to myself, maybe that's going to get me, you know, behind the enemy line. But no. All that it did was just get me into the line of fire. And obviously I was unable to do anything about it, which is really, really sad. But, oh well, never mind. Can we actually get that fellow to come and help? Oh, he's at... Nope. Okay. Never mind. He's actually not coming and helping us. We did get another 12,000 dinars. Where did that other guy go? Do you see how... This is... Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say at this point to all these vassals that are literally just running around randomly. They're not even coming over here. And by the way, I don't think I can even access my party screen while I am in a siege, by the way. I don't think I can actually do that. So that obviously puts paid to the whole, you know, let's access the party screen and, you know, try to... get some people to come and help us. Okay, wait a minute. Who's this? Okay, you literally... Okay, they're sending really, really weak vassals to me at the moment. And we now have even less battle advantage than we had beforehand. Alright, so we're going to try something a little bit different this time around. As 3 of my forces all get shot at the same time. 4 of my forces all get shot at the same time. Okay, 5. Okay, never mind. I don't even know. I don't even know what's going on right there. Anyway, hopefully, and I'm going to say this very, very lightly this time. Hopefully we're going to be able to get into the battlements with minimal casualties. Or at the very least, a minimum sacrifice of casualties. Because it feels to me like we are... What is even going on at the front right there? We're just getting absolutely massacred. This is really weird, because last time we were able to at least inflict a little bit of damage, and I wasn't even doing anything, really. I wasn't doing anything myself, you know, dramatically different than what I'm doing right now. I was doing a very small amount of damage before. So it might be the case that I literally just have to leave the Nords as it is. I don't really want to do that, because if I leave them alone, you can guarantee that they are going to come back at us really, really strongly. I mean, not as strongly as they possibly could be, because obviously they're going to have really, really weak units, and they're going to run around with some very small armies and things. But I really wanted to eliminate them. I so badly wanted to eliminate them, but it seems like I'm not going to have the ability to do that. You can see here that I'm already having issues even reaching the opponent. So let me actually just switch back to my shield here. Can I get through? I might be able to get through on the side. Can I get through? I might be able to. Here we go, here we go. Okay. Okay, this is what we wanted. This is what we wanted. Can I please eliminate these archers? Alright. Whew. Seems like we should be okay now. You know what? I shouldn't even say that, to be honest, but generally I think we should be fine. It's very much a loose fine at the moment, because I'm not entirely sure whether that will even end up being the case, because I could still get eliminated myself, which is going to be terrible. Oh, it will be too soon before the Nords get eliminated, because then I won't have to deal with their archers any further. And let's face it, the archers, they're not the best by any means when it comes to their ranged capability, but when it comes to their melee capability, oh, don't even get me started. It is absolutely ridiculous how incredibly damaging they can be if they get a lucky hit every now and again. It's gonna be shocking to see that every single time, because I've been hit so many times from their two-handed axes, and then all of a sudden, boom, you've just lost, I don't know, not a quarter of your HP, that's for sure, but you're definitely going to lose quite a lot, and then all of a sudden you're on the back foot, and it's going to be difficult to recover from that. Let me see if I can at least do some damage to these fellows. There we go. I've got to be really careful here as well. I'm super low in HP and I'm taking such a massive risk. I really do not want to build the siege tower again. Let's just say that. I do not want to build it again, and I certainly don't want to have the siege tower move to the walls once more. So I'm going to have to be... see now, fellows, friends? Yeah, this is exactly the reason why you want to get a ranged weapon. Why you want to build a character with a ranged weapon. So at the very least... Ow. Don't get killed, don't get killed, don't get killed. So at the very least, you can literally just stand here in some random spot and then just shoot enemies around the corner, and then you're going to be fine. And instead, no, I am now in a situation where I basically have to play a little bit of peekaboo, I guess, because now I can't even go really close to them because they have thrown weapons too. Yep, they have thrown weapons too, and I don't have a shield or anything like that, so yeah. Are we even doing well, by the way? Am I actually gonna even achieve victory here if we continue with this particular ratio? I'm a bit worried. Are you serious right now? Okay. Okay, well. Right, let me actually just have a quick look. 140 still remaining in the garrison. 140. Oh, these... You know, this is exactly the reason. This is exactly the reason why sieges in Warband can be so incredibly irritating. Just purely for the fact, just purely for the fact that you have to deal with the siege towers. The siege towers are absolutely awful. And whoever decided... You know, back in the day when this was in development, whoever decided that siege towers should be a thing and that they should take 48 hours to be made, or, you know, however long, super large amount of time to be made, and then you also have to move them to the battlements. Oh, don't even get me started. Oh my. Okay, yeah, that's pretty terrible. That is pretty terrible. Okay, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to take that, apparently. I mean, I can, but I'm gonna need to go back in there and then do the same thing again, which I very much didn't want to have to do. That was actually the main reason why I called for the campaign, because I was thinking to myself, oh, you know what, if we call for the campaign, we're gonna have a great time, because it's actually gonna enable us to, well, pretty much have an incredible amount of units. We're gonna have, you know, I don't know, 400, 500 units or something like that, because let's face it, if every single one of my vassals came to me and just stood there, real easy, just stood there, they don't have to do anything, they just stood there and were just in the fight, that's all I would need them to do. I just need them to stand there, and that would be amazing. That would be so incredibly useful. But the way that it is right now, they're making this very difficult. They're making it so that I have to struggle in this particular siege in comparison to if they had just come to support us, would have been over with already. So that's something that definitely definitely makes things more difficult than it has to be. Much more difficult. So we're gonna be making the siege tower, and once again, look at this. I am literally not getting anything. Oh, that was actually the tactic skill. Perfect. Yeah, that's actually what I thought it was. So that's really nice. So now we have tactics 2. So that means it's actually activated, in comparison to it not being activated before, because obviously we only had 1 point in it. So having 2 points in it, that's actually going to be somewhat useful, maybe, possibly, not entirely sure. We'll take a look here. Oh yeah, we have -1. That's all right. Okay, yeah, all right. Well, I guess we'll see how this goes. Alright, so what do we have going on here? I'm actually getting straight into the action this time, and I'm really surprised actually that I was able to get inside here. Really was not expecting that one bit, but I guess that's pretty nice, because now we're going to be able to go to town on the archers. Just going to try and eliminate them really quickly. Don't really want to stick around too much, because I don't really want to get shot from up above. And yeah, this is also one of those annoying things as well. They do tend to work really well with each other. I don't know whether you've noticed that already, but whenever one of the archers is defending, the other one is going to attack, and vice versa. And they're actually going to do a pretty decent job of attacking in unison, simultaneously, whatever you want to call it. And they actually do a nice job at that. But I'm going to try and eliminate as many of the enemy Jarls as I possibly can, including King Ragnar. Right? King Ragnar was actually here. Wow, okay. That's really useful for us. And this is actually going to get us into the battlements. This is exactly what I was talking about in a previous episode as well. Basically, helping your infantry to make inroads on the battlements themselves. That is one of the best things that you can do, because it's going to actually improve the survivability of your forces so dramatically that actually going after the archer nest, it doesn't really help things that much in comparison to slaughtering a whole bunch of infantry. I mean, I don't even know how many units I've killed so far, but I've probably killed at least 10, I guess, somewhere around there. And I've also eliminated a number of vassals personally, which is really going to make a huge difference in itself. Because I don't know whether you've noticed either, but there are so many times when enemy vassals are capable of getting multiple kills from your own forces. And if you can eliminate them, that's preventing their damage completely. And it's just making it so much easier for your own people to make their way inside and actually deal damage to the slightly more fragile units, which is exactly what you want. So I'm going to jump off here, and we're going to do a little bit of a cut-off maneuver. In other words, I'm going to try to get into a situation where I can deal damage to enemies that are coming from the reinforcement zone, rather than standing on the stairs behind my own units, because we obviously want to make it so that we are consistently in range of some enemy. You know, we want to make sure that we are consistently dealing damage. That is the most efficient way of doing it, or at least I try to do that. Sometimes that doesn't work, because other times this happens. Stuff like this happens, yeah. Okay, we got to be careful here. Just going to try and eliminate some of the minor units, and then I can hopefully deal with this. There we go. That's literally just a Nord trained footman, but you see how much difficulty he actually gave me. That was... It's shocking, you know. It's shocking how good the Nord infantry can sometimes be. Even the Nord recruits are giving us a run for our money. Are you serious right now? Am I literally going to die? Hopefully not. Their feinting game is very good as well. I don't know whether you've noticed that. That's really good. Sometimes they can literally just continually fake you out with feints all the time. And most of the time it's a good idea to just give them a nice little swift overhead chop to the face. That usually seems to sort them out. as you might expect. Oh, hello. Okay, I'm actually going to need to get out of here. Don't know whether you've seen that, but we are now starting to get completely overrun. Oh my. Yeah, that's actually really bad. And me taking damage from these random hits is also one of the worst things that I can possibly do. I'm gonna need to be very careful here. I cannot get myself murdered. But it's gonna be easy for that to happen. These guys can deal some pretty good damage, as we've seen. Even if they just, you know, do chip damage. Even if they just do 5 damage here and there. Boom. It's gonna be enough. I really don't want to die again, though. My own forces attempting to trap me there. That was not on purpose, of course, but they were definitely in the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, gotta be careful, gotta be careful. Archers are attempting to shoot me. Okay, I'm gonna have to get out of here once again. How many units do they have? Look at this. Look at how many units they have. It's absolutely ridiculous. Because beforehand, they had 144, and then all of their vassal units are starting to recuperate. And that has now resulted in insane amounts of reinforcements being able to generate just magically out of nowhere. That is obviously one of the biggest problems about Warband, obviously. The fact that enemy vassals can literally just conjure these things out of nowhere. And that's also the reason why I generally tend to recommend not playing on campaign AI on high. If you play it with it... I don't know. If you play with it on high, then you are a trooper, because for me personally, I loathe that kind of thing, where you're basically going to be going into a battle. You're going to fight this guy who's really, really difficult. So you're going to say, you know, let's say he has 150 units and he's got some really high level units in the process. And then all of a sudden, you defeat him. Just amazingly enough, let's say you get lucky enough, you know, you get lucky enough to defeat him. And then he comes back out of nowhere. Did my forces literally just get... Okay. Okay, What? They sent me in with 2 footmen? Are you serious right now? That is hilarious. Okay. Wow. Okay. That could have gone really badly. That could have gone super, super badly. Alright, well, anyway, to continue with the example... You literally kill a guy that's 150, you know, he's got 150 units, and then all of a sudden you're, you know, recuperating yourself. Let's say you lost a significant amount of units in that fight as well. Let's say you have an even army, and let's say you lost, I don't know, 50 units or 40 units or something like that. And then all of a sudden you see him again a few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes later, and he once again has an army of around 120. So he has a larger army than you, and his forces are relatively similar tier. And that happens again. So let's say you defeat him again, just due to your own, you know, significant tactical thinking or strategy or whatever. And then you see him again. And he has the same kind of army, and so on and so forth. You can basically rinse and repeat that particular situation over and over again with campaign AI being on high. At least that has basically what has happened to me in the past. And yeah, that's the reason why I just thought to myself, you know what? I don't want to put up with that, you know. I don't want to put up with this magically, you know, sort of like a clown car of units consistently coming back over and over again. And I don't mind that in some, I don't know, in some situations I don't mind that. If you want to have like a really difficult experience, then obviously go for it, you know. That's your own choice if you want to do that. But for me personally, it's just frustrating, you know, it's just frustrating, so I prefer not to do that. Anyway, I am actually going to just defer appointment of a lord to this particular castle because I don't want to give it to anyone. Because if I give this to someone and they end up leaving, it's literally going to be one of the most annoying things for us to take back. So I'm probably just going to leave it the way it is. I'm not going to actually give it to anyone. I might just give it to myself eventually or something like that. But yeah, we've finally taken Horus Castle and we're just going to be accepting the ransom offers because obviously there's no point any further. Hopefully they're not going to actually attempt to take anything back now. And we are finally free of Horus Castle and the siege tower. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, we really don't want to go back there ever again. No, we never want to go back there ever again. Thank you very much. But there you go. Wonderful. Look at that. We've taken absolutely every single thing in the Nord's territory, and we're actually going to be attacking the Vagirs. That is our next target. We're going to attack the Vagirs. Generally, it would be a good idea to go down to the Rhodoks and fight them next. But for me personally, I think it's probably a good idea for us to take on the Vagirs. They already seem a little bit, shall we say, a little bit weakened because they're at war against the Khergits, as far as I can tell. And the Rhodoks really haven't sustained too many problems. The one thing that I would recommend doing is if you are doing a similar playthrough to me, where you're playing alongside me or something like that, and you're starting in the Nords as well, let's say you already created your own faction or something like that, I would recommend, if you are early enough, to actually fight the Rhodoks. Because if you fight the Rhodoks early enough, they're not going to have a massive amount of really high tier units in their garrisons, and as a result, the Rhodok sharpshooter problem, which is a big deal, is not going to be that much of a problem. So that's obviously something that you might want to consider. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.